On this episode of Hot Garage, the Bonemaro runs 10.
You let the smoke out, buddy.
Welcome back to Hot Rod Garage, presented by Lincoln Tech. We've got one of my favorite project cars here today. It's the Bonemaro. This is our low buck drag car project. We set out to build a 10-second drag car for $10,000, and we did not make it. Nope, yeah. We totally failed. We got a 79 Camaro we dragged out of the desert. We got it dirt cheap. We got a 5.3 LS engine, did a couple upgrades to it, camshaft, head gaskets, valve springs. Bolted on a giant Chinese turbo kit, made 530 wheel horsepower. Now that's a ton of power and plenty of power to get this thing down the track in 10 seconds or less. But we wound up fighting a super tight torque converter and really long gears. So by the time we got the right parts in there, it did launch hard, but halfway down the track, it exploded.
It was a great day at work, though.
It was pretty fun. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna tear this engine out. We've got another Junkyard 5.3. We're gonna keep everything still very much on the cheap. Hopefully go hunting for that elusive 10-second time slip. Are you ready?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Are
buddy.
you ready?
I've been ready.
Let's do it.
To pull the motor out, we have a couple different options. We can take the motor and transmission out in one shot, leaving the front clip on. We're opting to go ahead and remove the front clip. It'll be a lot easier. We're going to drain all the fluids, take off the charge pipe, unhook a couple hoses and some wires, walk away with the front clip, and take everything out in one shot. Should work pretty smooth.
Try that.
Good.
Maybe. Thanks, buddy.
So far, we've not leaked anything.
Yeah, we'll get there. The day's not over, buddy.
So here's a little tech tip for you. On this car, it doesn't matter so much, but on most cars, when you're taking the front clip off or even adjusting doors or fenders or anything, there's a certain amount of body shims behind each bolt. On this car, there are 2 right here. There was 2 in the front and 2 over here. It's important to remember where all those shims are if you want your front end to go back on the way it came off. Okay, so as you can see, there's a couple of bolt holes here and a bracket that's all mangled behind that, and a giant dent that we didn't do, if you can believe that one. Instead of putting the bolts back in there and securing everything, they just welded the back of the fender, which is completely roadkill. So to stay with the whole theme of roadkill, I'm just gonna chisel it apart, and then we'll put bolts back in it later. I think that's it.
That's a little bit of weight here.
Yeah, it's heavy, huh?
So as you can see, we yanked the whole front end off in one piece. Now we have all this access to the engine and transmission, and this car has a sort of complicated exhaust manifold setup, so it's nice that we have all the access here to start dismantling stuff, get ready to pull the engine and trans out of the car. It's nice. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have the old engine out of the Bonemaro, and we're keeping this thing low buck. And true to form, we went on Craigslist and we bought another Junkyard 5.3 LM7
Craigslist
for 500 bucks. Here it is. What do you think?
So I'm just not thrilled.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
I hope the guts are good.
Yeah, because it doesn't look pretty.
The skin looks like poo.
If I had to guess by looking at it, I would say this has 180,000 miles.
Yeah, this is a hard 115,000.
Yeah, I see spiders, spider webs, garbage, rust, gunk, dirt,
Yeah, there's some stuff on here.
corrosion, broken bolts.
Well, the upside is we're taking everything from here up, off.
Off,
so
yeah. So we'll use the old heads with the valve springs in them.
good head, yeah.
We'll use our old camshaft and stuff.
Like brand new, got
Yeah.
10 miles on it.
We'll just use this short block and all those.
Lifters, too.
Yeah, the lifters and stuff. in
ARP
there.
head bolts,
Head bolts off that.
oil pans already modified.
Yep. So we'll
And,
use, the short block here.
Yep. It should be, yeah. What could
Yeah.
go wrong?
Everything. Pretty much everything. All right, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Wow.
Could be worse.
Yeah, no, that looks good.
So we've got the heads off the new motor, and it doesn't look too bad inside.
Yeah, we got something to work with here.
It seems to move freely. There's no crazy cracking, pitting, signs of detonation, nothing. It's dirty, but the internals are pretty clean. So let's push this thing to the side. I really want to know what's wrong with the old engine. Let's tear it apart. We'll look for signs of distress. I would say, looking at this engine, we had a ton of blow-by, and it started to sputter and smoke. So I think potentially cracked ring, broken piston, hole in the piston.
I vote for, yeah, you rolled a ring, ate the cylinder, and took off the top of a piston. That's mine. Broke a lip off a piston.
Good. We'll see.
Somebody's antenna just went up.
It's crazy.
Look at the rust right there, just raw rust dripping out.
Keep it sleazy.
Oh, my name is Tony.
Yeah, this is the one. We found the broke one. So we pulled off the driver's side cylinder head, and on the rearmost cylinder, you can see complete failure. There's a melted down piston.
That's a piece of ring right there.
There's a ring jammed up through the side of this thing. It was not happy. It either detonated pretty hard or got crazy hot.
Yeah, this thing went full Tony.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Didn't make it. She didn't make it.
I noticed a minute ago when you were talking about driving, it was you. But now it's we.
We definitely had a problem here. We had a big problem in here. We've got our Junkyard 5.3 long block that we bought broken down to the short block. We took everything that we need off the old engine. It's sitting over on a table, and we're getting ready to put it all together. But one thing we're going to do that we skipped last time is that we're going to open up the gap on the piston rings to make them more turbo-friendly.
Last time we knew we needed to do that.
We knew, but we skipped it. Why?
Because we were trying to get to the track.
Yeah. Anyway, this time we're going to pull the pistons out. We're going to open up those ring gaps, make sure they're perfect, put everything back together with new rod bearings and main bearings, and cross our fingers, bolt it together, and hit the track.
I'm knocking it out. Yeah, here, come take a look at this. So what me and Tony are tripping out on is you can't see any cast mark or any line that's machined here at all. It looks like it's just a rod cap bolt going into a rod. And as soon as you do that, you take it apart. Can you look closer there? It looks like it's not machined, it's broken off after it's cast and then assembled. So we got our junkyard motor all torn down. We got all the pistons out on the bench, all cleaned up, ready to go. The last thing we have to do before we reassemble it is gap all the piston rings. Here's Tony with your Lincoln Tech Tip to tell you exactly what gapping does.
Welcome back to another Lincoln Tech Tip. Today we're going to talk about piston rings, their gaps, and what they do. Now the piston ring performs a unique function for each one of the 4 strokes of a 4-cycle engine. So on the intake stroke, the rings seal up the combustion chamber and make sure that no air or oil get in there. Next, during the combustion stroke, the rings make sure that the air and oil mixtures stay in the combustion chamber and are properly compressed before they're ignited. During the power stroke, the rings make sure that that burning mixture doesn't get past the rings and into the crankcase as those gases are pushing the piston down. Finally, during the exhaust stroke, the rings make sure that everything that's been spent inside the combustion chamber is pushed out and none of it makes it into the crankcase. On the piston ring gap, piston rings will expand when warm, and you will set that end gap to take into account the thermal expansion and aim for best sealing once that engine is warm. A gap that is way too tight can actually close up once the engine is warmed up, causing a ton of friction in the cylinder, and if it's really tight, it could even break a piston. Now, if the gap is too big, the engine will have too much crankcase pressure, have a ton of blow-by, burn oil, and lack proper cylinder sealing. Different engine setups need different ring gaps, and it's mostly dependent on how much fuel is being burned. The more fuel, the more heat, and the more those rings are going to expand, so the bigger the gap that will be needed. Modified engines will need a bigger ring gap than stock, and turbo or blower and nitrous engines will need an even larger gap. Now, all piston ring manufacturers will give you a ring gap specification, and that's the best route to follow. Now that we're all experts on piston rings and gaps, let's get back to this shop.
Lincoln Tech can teach you how to have a career working with cars. See lincolntech.edu.
So we've got all the pistons out of our Junkyard 5.3 engine that we're going to use for the Bonemaro, and I'm going to open up the ring gaps to be happier with the turbo. That means setting the top ring at 28 thousandths and the bottom ring at 30 thousandths. Now when you take them off, you want to keep the top and bottom separate, keep track of them, and keep top and bottom of each ring in order as well. Now this is pretty simple. You're going to put it into the cylinder. You want to make sure you get it flat in the cylinder, and you want to get it far in enough in case there's a taper that you're still gonna get a good reading. So that means using one of the pistons, and I'm gonna just slide it down. That's gonna keep the ring nice and flat. I'm gonna push it down to about the skirt bottoms out. Then I'll go in with some feeler gauges and check the gap. This is a lower ring, so we're going for 30 thousandths. This looks like it's right now about 26 thousandths, so I got a little bit of material to take off. Our little setup here for ring gap is just a ring file we bought off of Summit. It's nice and cheap, like 50 bucks. We motorized it because Lucky didn't want to hand crank this thing all day. And it's basically about keeping this really flat so that the end of the ring butts up nicely and square against the cutting tool, so that when you're done and this is in the cylinder, you have a nice parallel gap. So now that I'm all set up, I've got 16 of these things to do. It's a little bit tedious, but take your time. Your patience will be rewarded. This is a super critical part of your engine. So we've got that 5.3 block all cleaned up. The pistons are ready to go back in. And we hit up our buddies at Rock Auto and figured we would splurge a little bit. And we got a high-performance oil pump and new rod bearings.
Nice.
Yeah. So we have new rod bearings in here with some engine assembly lube on the bearing surface to keep it lubricated during the initial startup.
That's correct.
And then we're just gonna hose down the oil rings, the sides of the pistons, everything, just to make everything go a little bit easier during the install. When you do put these in, it's nice to put the first and second rings, the gaps on the opposite
180.
side of each other to give you a little bit better sealing. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Common mistakes are the edge of the journal on the crankshafts on the outside edges of the journal are chamfered. And so if you take a look here at the main cap and also on the bearing, there's a chamfer here that matches that. The inside is flush because they rub right next to something. And I've seen it and done it myself where you assemble it backwards. And it all goes together just great, but the rod's facing the wrong direction.
I've got the crankshaft from the old Bonemaro 5.3. This is an upgraded unit. It's set up for high lift and short duration, good for forced induction. And it still looks in pretty good shape, so we're gonna use it on the new engine.
So if you've ever worked on an LS motor, you'll know that when you put the timing cover on, the holes aren't super precise. You can move the timing cover up and down. If you assemble the motor and it's upside right, the timing cover tries to hang down further than where the oil pan mounts. So it's good to leave it loose till the oil pan's bolted on, and then when you tighten these two front bolts, it will self-align the timing cover and then tighten it all together. Lucky's tech tip, don't play with matches.
So we've got the short block all together. We're gonna use these LS9 head gaskets that we used last time. You can get them around 50 bucks a piece. They're a nice multi-layer gasket. It's a pretty good deal.
Which side's the front?
It says front on it. The real tragedy of this whole thing is that if we would have just got the right converter in it the first time, I think we would have hit tens.
Or after maybe 6 or 8 passes, we would have said, you know, this isn't gonna work, we need to get more parts.
Yeah, but we didn't.
But
we just kept
this show's all about having fun, and we had a lot of fun that
Yeah,
day.
we beat it to death, and that's what's a bummer. So I think now that we have the motor going back together right, we've set the boost properly with that converter, we should be in there. We should hit tens.
So our schedule was rocking. We were right on point. Were we not? Everything was going smooth.
We were doing a pretty good job.
Putting the heads on, we found out that the outside bolts on the first generation of the LS 5.3 were short on the outside, and all the rest of them were long, as in a lot longer. And so then we found out the second generation, mid-year change?
It's a mid-year change. This is supposed to be an 03 block.
Yeah.
It changed mid-year 03.
So now it's-
us. And we had to spend 130 bucks on them.
Another 130 bucks. So there goes the schedule and the budget.
Yeah.
But we got the bolts. It's going together again.
So we've got the push rods and now the rockers installed. And one tip you want to remember is that when you're torquing the rockers down, they want you to spin the engine around so that the rockers are unloaded or on the base circle of the camshaft for that cylinder to get a nice accurate torque reading. So tell me when that's unloaded.
Stop. I see nothing moving. 22?
22.
A little more. Stop. Stop.
So now that we've got the rockers all torqued down, we're gonna install a fresh set of NGK BR7 EF plugs, and I gapped them pretty tight, 0.025. So,
Wow.
in case we wanna get the boost crazy.
In case.
You know, when, whatever. She's a beauty.
Ready?
Might be easier on the toys to tell you I'm putting a starter in here. My mom says I'm doing a great job. Back. So we're gonna pick this engine up. We're gonna wheel the transmission in on that dolly, mate them together, throw them in the car, and since we have the front end off of it, we're gonna sort of do the rest of the accessories, the exhaust manifolds, the turbo system, with everything in the car. Oh my God, stop doing this. It's beautiful. We've got the engine in the car, and we are now figuring out the wiring harness.
Yeah, we figured out once before.
We figured it out once before, but we also didn't label or mark anything, and there's some extra stuff here.
You ready for this, Tony?
Yeah, it looks like all the gaskets are in there on my side.
Dude, I'm excited. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, work your side. Now that the turbo's back on the car, we're gonna put the front end on, hook everything up, and fire it up.
Lightweight racing front end?
Oh yeah, this thing.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
This thing weighs so much.
This
This is like half a car.
extremely heavy. The engine is back in the car. We put the front end on. We connected the turbo to the intercooler. All the accessories are on. All the wiring is done, and we're about to fire this thing up.
So you know why I'm standing over here?
Yes,
There's gonna be a whole lot of racket over there.
indeed.
Do you know why?
Because the Roadkill guys stole our exhaust.
Those guys, I swear.
Here we go. All right, this thing runs, it smokes, but it sounds all right.
Yeah, I like it.
We've got a couple things to button up before the trek.
Front end's about to fall off.
And we'll bolt that on. I'm gonna put in a better boost gauge.
All right. Auto meter.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
saw
tie
that.
down a couple things and make sure that it's full of gas. And then we'll head to the track. So we've got the Bonemaro with that Junkyard Fresh 5.3 out here at Auto Club Famoso Raceway in Bakersfield, and I'm stoked. You ready to run this thing?
Did you just read that off the side of the truck?
I did.
Thought you had that memorized.
It's a good job.
Dude, let's do something.
Here's the thing. We came here once already and tried to run that number, and it didn't work out.
This is the HRG remix.
It is. So some of the troubles we had were a blown-up turbo, a car that made no power,
Yeah.
shifter that wouldn't go into gear, and an exhaust that just wasn't there.
So you're batting 100.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
Tony touch it, it break.
Make it go boom.
Make it go boom.
So we're back now, and we've got the Bonemaro back in shape. It's got a new turbocharger.
New turbo.
We took it to Church's auto testing, and it put down 550 wheel horsepower.
57.
We sprung for a decent shifter,
Yes.
and you made a cool little hater pipe.
Hater pipe.
I'm
Ta-da!
actually really excited to get this thing on track. It's 8:30 in the morning. It's super hot here. It's only going to get worse, so I think it's time to go.
Let's go.
We spent a couple bucks on this thing because we want to hit those 10s, and it's time to see how it goes.
Keep going.
Good?
Launch.
Oh yeah, you got some jump to her now. of this thing. But it ran hard.
Dude, did you just see that? First pass, 1096.
Yes! Woo! Yeah! All right. Woo! 10 seconds. I think it exploded. We did it. Woo!
First pass.
First one. Yes. Some stuff happened here.
You hit a bug? Nice job, buddy.
Woo!
So all that is from that friggin' breather cap.
Oh, man. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, I'm stoked, dude.
Wow.
You know how I said I didn't want to drive it?
Woo!
Yeah, I want to drive it now.
It goes pretty straight.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, so we did it. 10-second car.
Piece of cake.
We built one. We did spend more than $10,000.
On which turbo?
I don't even know.
Which motor?
We haven't spent a fortune yet.
I'm having fun.
I think it'd be cool to see how much further we can go and stay on the cheap.
Yeah.
8 seconds, maybe? 9? What
Yeah.
can we do with
You
this
guys
thing?
are talking roll cage, gears,
E85.
E85.
There you go. All right, but maybe that's down the road. That's it for this episode of Hot Rod Garage presented by Lincoln Tech. Don't forget to check us out on social media between episodes. It's Hot Rod Garage Show on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Tangelo96 on Instagram.
I'm Mobile Tech Lucky on everything.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.